Good afternoon, gents. So, as we are conducting a basic health and safety knowledge for IOSH and OSHA students, as I discussed earlier, it's our first lesson for IOSH and OSHA. And next Friday, we will have another class, and that's all for this one. And we will try to complete everything which is required. After that, I'm going to share with you IOSH and OSHA study material prepared by them, and there is a handbook prepared by Global Trainings, which is very helpful for you. You can go through the handbook, you can read it thoroughly, and you will find it very easy and understanding. So here is a table of contents, what we are going to learn. So the purpose of this training or purpose of this session is to promote safety awareness and to educate and inform standardized practices by documenting standardized safety procedures. This is the purpose of health and safety basically, and the purpose of this session as well, that what we are going to learn and what is the benefit of this one. So objective of health and safety is always to reduce the risk in the workplace and to minimize the risk of accidents, injuries, and ill health in the workplace by providing comprehensive safety guidelines, emergency preparedness to prepare employees and management for emergency situations by outlining clear steps. These things maybe looks difficult to you for now because we are just on the basic, and in the coming slides we will read about the in the coming slides, we will learn about definitions, the basic and important definitions. After understanding of the definitions, you will be it will be much easy for you to understand it. So safety, hazard, and risk. What is safety? If we talk about safety, we need safety. There is a safety officer, there is a safe condition, there is unsafe conditions. So what basically safety is? Safety is a situation, safety is a condition where employees, peoples, organizations feels safe. No risk or dangers to the health, no risk or hazards to the environment or to the community or to equipments and assets of the property. So in simple language, the place or the atmosphere or the environment where an individual or a company feels safe while working without any threats from moving machines, from environment, from other hazardous chemicals, that is safety. That is a condition. And if we talk about hazard, hazard is any source of potential damage, something which can cause harm to you, something which can cause a damage, and that is an hazard. In the coming slide, we will go through the example of each. And risk is a likelihood or probability that a person will be harmed or experience an adverse health effect if it exposed to a hazard. So let's say if a person is exposed to hazard, what happened to him? What are the consequences? What are the results or what are the outcomes of that hazard after happening to an individual or to an organization? Now we will see the example scenarios. Hazard. Some of us or most of us have seen the cleaning in the offices. When they are cleaning, they are using some sort of detergent and liquids which make the floor or the tiles slippery. So a wet floor in a construction site or in an office is a hazard. The risk is the likelihood that a worker or an employee will slip and get injured. That is the risk. Like when an employee is moving on that wet surface, maybe he slipped, he fell down, he get injured, he get fractured, he get another injury to his body. That is risk. The likelihood and the probability, that is the risk. And where safety stands now? Safety is to ensure that that hazard is properly controlled or adequate control measures are in place. So as we have the example of wet surface, so what will be the control measures? Very basic thing. Control measures is something which we use or we apply to control a hazard. So here what we can apply area isolation, we can put small signages, we can put some barricade, we can put a wet caution, which is maybe you have seen in the yellow color, it's written wet caution, like the area is wet, so be careful. Or the PPEs can be provided, like a shoes with the sound or strong grip, which will keep the person stable, which will not let him slip and fall. This is the role or this is the work of safety. So when a person is aware and there is a signages, second thing, and third thing, he is having adequate or proper safety shoes, means he is in a safe condition, he can avoid or he can bypass this hazard easily. So this is simple examples and the definition of hazard, risk and safety, and basic understanding for health and safety. As I mentioned earlier, I try to keep it very, very basic and easy so that everyone, even a new learner, he can understand something. Okay. Now, what are the duties of safety officers in construction site? This is very important. Most of you, or let's say all of you, going to be a safety professional on site, regardless it's a safety officer, assistant, engineer, manager, or supervisor. That is some different types or different roles within the organization. It depends on your competencies, your hard work, and your struggle and your eagerness to learn and be a leader. Anyway, we will talk about safety officer because we are in a very basic class. A safety officer, he is responsible to ensure the safety policy, procedure, risk assessments, and the JSs with the workers. This is his prime responsibility, that he should communicate with the employees and with the management also, that as per the safety policy, these are the rules and regulations which we have to follow. He should participate in the risk assessment. Risk assessment is the assessment of the risk on site, like what are the activities, and according to that these activities, what are the health and safety risks on the site. So he have to participate along with construction team. He have to conduct safety inspections and audits. Inspection is he have to go through the site, his workplace, his location, and he have to check proper access, egress, electrical items, fire, source of ignition, storage of material, storage of chemicals, or any hazards related to that work. If there is a work at height, people are working on an elevated platform, he have to check the fall protections, etc. Trainings and education, he is also responsible to give adequate training and education to the workers. Which type of training he can give? He have to tell them that these are the hazards and these are the control measures. Like the people are working on an elevated platform, let's say on a scaffolding, so he have to tell them the hazards of the scaffolding, like what happened if you fell from height, what are the consequences, what risk involved, and how to avoid or how to control these risks by using appropriate control measures. For example, if you are climbing up with a ladder, you have to maintain a 3-point contact. If you are working in the scaffolding, you have to maintain 100% tie off. You have to wear body harness properly. You have to inspect your body harness. Like these are some things or some basic responsibilities which a safety officer have. He have to part in the incident investigation. He have to be prepared and communicate the emergency response plan or emergency preparedness. Sorry, emergency response or emergency preparedness is very important in anywhere, in offices, in the construction sites, in oil and gas sector, or wherever you are. Even you are driving a car, you need to be ready for any emergency situation. Maybe someone in front of you is drunk, maybe he is a reckless driver, maybe he is a young driver, maybe he's not feeling well, fatigued, tired, or sleeping. So you need to assess that risk and you need to take care. So emergency response plan is something like where organization or the safety team with the involvement of project management decide like what to do in case of an emergency. Let me give an example. If on the workplace there is a fire happened, what to do? Who will evacuate the fire? Who will raise the alarm? Who will extinguish the fire? Who will evacuate the peoples? Who will communicate with the management? Like a set of responsibilities, a documented procedure, like how to act in case of emergency. That is emergency preparedness. That is also a duty of safety officer. He should be aware about the emergency scenario, emergency things, and emergency contact numbers, because he is a key person on the workplace. And other interesting and very important point, reasons to implement health and safety. I used to ask this question in every interview from safety officers whenever there is a chance to conduct, why we need to implement health and safety in the workplace. It's very important. Also in IOSH and IOSH and in OSHA exams, this question is very common. So there are three basic reasons: moral, legal, and financial. There are three reasons why we need to implement health and safety. The moral reasons: we are humans, we are living in a community all around the humans, communities, machines, environment. So it's our moral responsibility to take care of ourselves and the health of others. We should not put someone in danger. We should not put ourselves in danger. Here we have to think some emotions. We have to think some about our relations with our families, with the peoples back home in the country, with the peoples who loves you, with the peoples who care about you, or the peoples who are depending on you. Let's say if something happened to you, you get fracture, or unfortunately an employee in the workplace he get died, what will happen to his family? So morally it's our responsibility, and it's the responsibility of the organization to implement good health and safety standards in the workplace. Second is the legal. Legal means government or any authority involved in health and safety structures, or authority who is involved in implementing the accountability or the laws enforcement in the country. So International Labor Organization is one example. And if you are working in UAE, Abu Dhabi government, they have developed COPs which also are shape of law, or any federal law in any country. Let's say in Saudi Arabia, we have a ministerial degree or a government order that from 15 August to 15 September, no one can work under the direct sun from 12 to 3 p.m. because it's very hot. So this is a law. If someone violating the law, government or the enforcement authorities, they have the right to ban the organization, to fine the organization, or to put someone in the jail, in the prison, who is not following or who is violating the law. So this is a legal requirement to implement health and safety, to protect yourself, your company, your organization, your management from the legal affairs. It's required to implement health and safety in the workplace. Third is important and interesting is financial. Mostly organizations or the companies, they are thinking that safety is a cost, and safety or implementing safety standard is a cost and time consuming, but it's wrong thinking. It's a poor perception about safety from their side. Safety will save a lot of financial aspects from you. Let's say an incident or an accident happened in the workplace because health and safety standards are not implemented. So company will face jail, investigation, hospital cost, insurance cost, compensation to the family. Maybe there is a ban on organization. Maybe there is a fine. Maybe they will put the project manager in jail. Maybe the government authority suspend the operations. They took back the project from that specific company. So in that case, company have to hire new persons, they have to train new persons, they have to bring new equipments, a lot of procedures required to compensate that accident things. There are many types of cost, insured or let's say uninsured. So that financial impact is there if we are not implementing health and safety. So to ensure health and safety is to implement health and safety, this is also a reason to save the financial impact on the company. That is the third reason to implement health and safety in the workplace. So once again, I will share this with you. Go through, read it thoroughly, understand it. If you are not able to understand or any doubts, let me know. WhatsApp, email, telephone call. I will try my best to clear your doubts. But this is very important. Okay. So far, now we will move to our training modules. Training one is about excavation. If you can see this picture, you can see digging on the ground. So excavation is something whenever we use mechanical machines, excavators, dozers, bulldozers, or manual shovels to dig the hole, to dig the earth, that is called excavation. You have seen in the public places, like they are coming to lay the telephone lines or the sewerage line or the stormwater lines, that is in the public places. That is a shape of excavation. So how to protect the excavation? There is, you can see the first picture which is showing benching. Benching is a method or a technique to protect the collapse of excavation. First, let me tell you the hazards of the excavation. The major hazard of excavation is collapse, like the walls of the excavation collapse and someone can get stuck inside, equipment can tip over. Oh, and secondly, there may be underground utilities, electric power lines. There are pipelines. Maybe there are some liquids, or the water table is high. Maybe there is a flooding. These are some common hazards of excavations, which we need to ensure that properly controlled, identified, and communicated with all manpower. By the way, benching is one of the process or one of the technique to protect the to avoid the collapse of the excavation. The second picture is sloping. This is a technique where we did the excavation or we dig the earth in a way that it shape a slope of 35 to 45 degree. This slope helps to keep the excavation strong, because in case of slope, if there is a loose material or if there is a collapse, it will collapse very slowly, and there is a chance for the employees to go out or to leave the area or to evacuate the area, and it will help them to keep the excavation protected and to avoid the collapse of excavation. That is the second technique. How this is selected, like we are going to do benching or sloping, we will go through for this in the coming slide. Here is the third method, which is shielding. Shielding is digging a hole, doing an excavation, after that providing the metal or wood sheets covered with the and protected with the jacks or supported with the jacks. After that, people or employees or workers can go inside, they will perform their work. After performing the work, these jacks are being removed mechanically, like with the excavator, with the support of cranes or excavators or any mechanical equipment. After removing the support jacks, that is the third part of third technique of protecting the excavation, which is called shielding. And in this picture you can see a pipeline is laid, and the excavation is very narrow, and there is no benching, no sloping, but here they have used the shieldings. Okay, here they have used a method of protection, which is like not sloping, not benching, not shielding. Which method is this? Any idea? I believe all of you are new in this field. So this is also called sheet piling. Excavation work generally means working involve the removal of soil, as we discuss about this one. By the way, this is the fourth method, and here is the method which is called shielding. If you can see, open excavation, and then we have sloping with the 40-degree slope, and then secondly we have benching, third we have shoring, fourth we have shielding. Shielding is also the same method, using the metal sheets and supported these sheets with the hydraulic jacks or the manual jacks, which is being used to tighten or loose the sheet piles to avoid any collapse of the excavation. Okay, here you can see excavation. Excavation is digging up. This is called an open excavation, where one excavator is removing the sand, putting at a distance. This is an excavator. Excavations can be open, can be trial pits, pit excavations, trenches. These are different types. These are decided as required by the task. And this is open excavation. Open type or shape and size and excavation is determined by the soil type. Now, this is important, like how we decide that we need benching, sloping, shoring, or shieldings. There is a study, there is a geotechnical study, which is conducted by geological engineers or geotech engineers or the responsible persons. They test the soil, they take the samples, bring it to the laboratory, and they test the soil. After that, they decide which type of soil is this. It's A type, it's B type, like it's a sand, it's a hard material, or it's complete rocks. So as per that study and the results of that study, they are deciding how or which protection method to be used. So they are giving the clear lines, like which method we have to use to protect the excavation from collapse. Then one from these four methods, one can be used. So this is very basic about excavation. Now, if we talk about the pit excavation, just for example, pit excavation is usually four-sided and deeper than the narrowest horizontal dimensions at the surface. Pit excavation, if I explain in other words, it's a square, let's say, from the edge you will see it like 2 by 2 meters, but it's deep like 3 meters, 4 meters, or 5 meters. It's without sloping or benchings mostly, and it was done to install sometime like stormwater inlets, sewerage manholes, or they want to put something and then quick backfilling. That's why the pit excavation was done. Pits are generally excavated to install manholes, pump stations, or underground tanks that are also excavated to construct piles, pile caps, and other types of foundations. Anyhow, no need to go through for this one because excavation is still excavation. Same hazards, same control measures are there. So we have to ensure that adequate study has been done, work permit, risk assessment, method statement, drawings, underground utilities are identified. If there is any cables or other things under the soil, they need to identify it and properly control. So when we talk about the roles and responsibilities, the supervisor, the managers, and ultimately the organization, they are responsible to ensure that work permit, a work environment without risk to health and safety, safe plant and structure, safe system of work is available. They have to ensure that safe use, handling, and storage of plant structures. These are the general responsibilities of an organization. But if we talk specifically about excavation, the project manager is responsible to ensure that health and risk assessment and method statement are prepared, approved, and risk assessment or the JSs are communicated with the workforce. They should be aware that what are the hazards, which type of soil we have. They should obtain the permit from the permit issuer or from the relevant organization. They should ensure that adequate signages, awareness signages, and barriers to avoid the entry or fall of the employees are provided around the excavation. These are some basic responsibilities or roles, and they have to check the, one second guys. So they have to ensure that soil type is identified, like which type of soil we have and which type of protection method we are using. If there is hazardous material, if there is excavated material, it should be kept away from the edge of excavation, depending on the depth of the excavation, so that material is a load on the wall. So if there is a more material stored, it can lead to the collapse of the excavation. So that these all things need to be done prior to start any excavation. And in the summary points, if we talk, assure that all workers, we have to ensure that pre-task briefing is conducted, permit is obtained, JSA risk assessment is communicated, toolbox talk is conducted, supervisor, work permit receiver are available, area is isolated, warning signs are provided, barriers or any means of soft or hard barricade is provided to avoid the entry of the employees. And if we are working in a community, like in a street or in a village or in a city, we need to ensure that communication has been done with the locality or with the peoples living near to us, so that they can be protected, so that they can be aware about the things happening around them.